This is the only video on the internet where you will find everything you need to know to do well on the IELTS Listening Maps questions. I will teach you everything in this single video, starting from what IELTS Listening Maps questions are, what their types are, and then I will talk about some key vocabulary you need to know to solve these IELTS Listening Maps questions. And that's not all. After that, I'll share some strategies for tackling map-based questions, followed by some practice questions. And finally, I will discuss some common pitfalls to avoid in map-based questions. So you don't want to miss even a single second of this video. Stay tuned until the end of this video while we explore the world of map questions on the IELTS listening test. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome language learners to our guide on mastering IELTS listening maps questions. So if you're preparing for IELTS exam, you're likely aware of the diverse range of question types you will encounter on the IELTS listening test. So among these questions, map-based questions hold a significant place, challenging candidates to navigate through visual representations of locations while simultaneously listening to audio instructions or descriptions. So if I have to put it in simple terms, imagine you're taking a test where you listen to someone talking while looking at a map. That's what IELTS listening maps questions are all about. So you'll hear someone giving directions or describing places and you will have to follow along on a map. It's like a game where you listen carefully and mark where things are on map based on what you hear. Sometimes it's a city map and you have to find streets or buildings. Other times it's a floor plan like a drawing of a house and you have to label rooms. The goal is to understand what's being said and use the map to answer questions correctly. It's a fun way to test your listening skills and learn about different places at the same time. So maps questions assess your ability to comprehend and interpret spatial information or visual information, a skill highly valued in academic and real-world context. Now let's move on to different types of IELTS listening maps questions. So maps questions in IELTS listening test can vary in format and complexity. Understanding the different types of maps questions you may encounter is essential for tackling these questions with confidence. So let's explore some common types of the maps questions that you can see on the IELTS listening test. So the first one is city maps. A city map shows streets, buildings, and landmarks in a city. Now imagine you're listening to someone describing how to get to a museum, and you will have to follow their directions on the map. That's what a city map question could be like. So you may be asked to follow directions, locate specific places, or identify a relationship between different locations on a map. That's exactly what the city map could be on the IELTS listening test. And the example of this can be found in the Cambridge 16 test for question 15 to 20, which is about labeling the map related to recreation ground after proposed changes. So you can have a look at that in the mentioned book. Let's move on to the next type, which is floor plans. Now, like the name itself suggests, a floor plan shows the layout of rooms in a building. For example, if someone talks about a house and mentions the bedroom and kitchen, you have to find them on the floor plan. Easy, isn't it? So tasks involving floor plans often require you to understand spatial relationships, identify rooms or facilities, and follow directions within the given space. And again, if you want to know the example of this can be found in, again, Cambridge 16 Listening Test 1, question 15 to 20. And this is again labeled a map question, and the question is about the plan of Stevenson's site. The next one, called the route maps. A route map illustrates a journey with stops and destinations. Imagine someone talks about taking a bus tour and mentions where it stops, so you mark those places on the map. So questions could be related to, in route map questions may require you to track a journey, identify stopping points, or infer information based on the given route. And again, if you want to know the example could be found in Cambridge 13 Listening Test 1 questions 14 to 20, which is again about labeling the map question, and it's called Proposed Traffic Changes in Cranford. The next type is called tourist maps. It's easy, isn't it? A tourist map highlights attractions and paths in a city or park. If someone talks about visiting a zoo or a famous landmark, you find them on a tourist map. So tasks involving tourist maps often focus on locating specific places, understanding visited facilities, and following suggested routes or locations. Again, if you want to know the example could be Cambridge 11 Test 1, which is about Fiddy Working Heritage Farm. And again, it's about labeling the map. Now, hope the next time you encounter the map question, you at least know what type of map question is it. And obviously, when you know what type of map question is it, it helps you to understand what kind of terminology you're about to hear in each of these different map questions. So each type of map presents unique challenges and opportunities for test takers. By familiarizing yourself with these variations and practicing with sample questions, you'll develop the skills needed to navigate through map-based questions tasks effectively during the IELTS listening test. So now that we've learned about the different types of IELTS listening maps questions, let's focus on some important vocabulary that will help us better understand and tackle these questions. So our next part is key vocabulary for IELTS listening maps questions. So to excel in map-based questions on the IELTS listening test, it is essential to grasp the vocabulary commonly used to describe locations, directions, and spatial relationships. Let's explore some of the key terms. The first set of words that I'm going to talk about is on the left, on the right, on the far side. So these words describe positions on the left and the right side as well as the far side of something. For example, on the left means, remember, this is my left and it will be your right. So it means to the left side. And on the right means to the right side. In the listening test, imagine yourself actually in that scenario. So put yourself in that map and then think whether this is your right or whether this is your left. So this is an easy way to know what direction you're kind of following there. So which takes us to the next thing, which is about the cardinal directions: north, south, east, and west. Now obviously it is easy to know which is north and which is south. So obviously if something is on above, that's north, something below, that is south. To remember west and east, the easy way is with the word we. So W-E, we. So obviously west first and then east. So next time you're confused about which is west and which is east, think about the word we. It will help you identify, all right, this is west and this is east. Now let's look at the directions, the complex directions like northeast, southeast, northwest, southwest. So imagine a direction between north and east. So the direction between north and east is called northeast. So similarly, imagine a direction between north and west, and that is called northwest. Similarly, the direction between south and east is called southeast. And finally, the direction between south and west is called southwest. So the next time you hear these complex directions in the listening test, you would know which is northeast, which is southeast, which is northwest, and which is southwest. So moving on, we have words like between, which means in the space separating two things, and facing, which means looking toward a particular direction. So when I say between, so between is, I'm talking about something between two things. And when I'm talking about facing, I'm talking about something facing. So I'm facing towards camera at the moment. So the next two words are the top and bottom. So this describes position relative to the top and bottom of something. So at the top means the highest point, while at the bottom means the lowest point. So our next word is a junction. Now, this is very important in listening test. And a junction is a point where two or more roads or paths meet. For example, imagine you're driving and you come to a point where you can turn left, you can turn right, or you can go straight ahead. And that's a junction. Next, we have dead end. So a dead end is a street or road that has no exit. So meaning it doesn't continue through to another road. So if you are walking down a dead end street, you will reach at a point where the road stops or ends, and you have to turn around because there's no way to continue forward. The next word is leads off. So when we say that a road or path leads off from another road, it means that it starts or branches off from that road. For example, if you're driving down a main road and you see a smaller road branching off to the side, you can say that the smaller road leads off from the main road. The next word is pass through. So when we say something passes through a place, it means it moves from one side to the other, often without stopping. So for example, imagine you're driving and you enter a tunnel. So you don't stop inside the tunnel, you simply pass through it to the other side. Hope that makes sense. The next word we have is runs alongside. So when something runs alongside another thing, it means it moves parallel to it, next to it, or alongside it. For example, if you're walking along a path that follows the course of a river, you can say that the path runs alongside the river. The last word I want to talk about is beyond. So when we say something is beyond a particular point or place, it means it is further away or at a greatest distance from a point. For example, if you're standing at the edge of a field and you see a forest in the distance, you can see that the forest is beyond the field. Now, I must say that there are more words for you to learn about learning vocabulary related to the maps. So what I have done for you is I have compiled a list of almost all words that you may encounter in the listening test, specifically maps related questions. So I have included that in the description for you guys, so you can download that document for free. And important thing is, it has also got some key vocabulary related to the signs that you may also need to know for your IELTS listening maps questions. So make sure that you download that from the description. Alright, now that we've learned about some important words related to directions, let's talk about how we can use these words effectively to give and follow directions. So, understanding vocabulary is essential, but knowing how to apply is equally important. So let's look at some of the strategies for tackling map-based questions. Now, this is from my experience of 15 years. You must know these strategies to navigate map-based questions in the IELTS listening test. So let's explore some effective strategies to help you tackle these questions with confidence. So number one is preview the map. Take a few moments to preview the map before listening to the audio. Familiarize yourself with key landmarks, directions, and symbols to understand the layout of the locations. So, in simple words, look at the map carefully and see what's being given to you. Number two, instructions are key. You need to first identify the way you're going to respond to the listening map question by reading the instructions carefully. So, from the instructions, you'll clearly understand how many words and what kind of words you need to answer. For example, generally in the listening maps questions, you'll see write the correct letter A to F next to questions 1 to 5 or 1 to 6. So in this case, you need to label the questions with letters A to F or A to E and not with the answers that you've heard in the audio. That's the biggest mistake students make, and not the answers that you've heard in the audio. The next one is pay attention to titles and labels. Focus on the title and labeled parts in the map or plan question. These provide important clues about the audio content you will hear. Understanding the titles help you predict the topic, while knowing the label parts help you stay focused during the listening task. Next, visualize yourself in the situation. I can't tell you how important this tip is. So you need to put yourself in the map or plan scenario mentally. Imagine you're physically present in that location and try to predict nearby places based on your surroundings. Think about where the speaker might start from and what locations could be nearby, such as to the left, to the right, front, behind, opposite, north, east. So whatever it says, you need to pay attention to that. The next one is listen for answers in order. During the listening test, the audio recordings typically provide answers in order of the questions. Listen attentively for the answer to each question as it corresponds to the sequence of questions on the test paper. Now, if you miss one, that means it's just gone. You need to move on to the next one. Sometimes students start focusing that they may hear this thing after some time, but once you miss something, you miss that. So stay focused on the next part so you don't miss out what's coming next. The next tip is ignore distractions. Be aware of distracting words like however, sorry, no in the audio. While these words may appear in the conversation, focus on identifying the relevant information that directly answers the question without getting distracted by these distractors. Next tip, take effective notes. Utilize note-taking skills during the listening test. Jot down the key points or keywords that are relevant to each question. Keep your notes clear and concise, avoiding scribbling or lengthy sentences. Practice this skill to improve your ability to capture important information efficiently. Next tip, be accurate when transferring your answers. I've seen so many students, they capture the information correctly, but when they transfer their answers, they get distracted, or they just miss one question and then keep writing and they miss the correct answers. It is so important that you keep a track of the question number and the letter corresponding to that letter when you're transferring your answers. And the last tip is stay calm and focused. Now, you need to stay calm and focused throughout the test, but the reason I am specifically saying that for the map-based questions is because these are generally challenging and you need to, kind of take a deep breath and approach it systematically to get it correct. And you need to practice these type of questions in order to build your confidence and familiarize yourself with different types of map questions and audio recordings. So incorporate map-based listening activities into your study routine to strengthen your skills over time. So by applying these strategies during the IELTS listening test, you'll be better equipped to navigate map-based questions efficiently and accurately, ultimately maximizing your performance on the test day. Alright, now we're going to practice answering map-based questions similar to those found in the IELTS listening test. Specifically, we will be focusing on question 15 to 20 from Cambridge 16 Test 4. Take a look at this map of the recreation ground. This map represents the layout of the recreation ground after proposed changes have been made. So we will listen to an audio recording describing these changes, and your task will be to label the map with the correct letters corresponding to the specific locations. Now I'll play the audio recording. Pay close attention to the information provided and mark the appropriate letters A to I on the map to answer the questions. You are more than welcome to post your answers in the comment sections. So let's see how many you get right.
Now listen and answer questions 15 to 20.
So next on the agenda is proposals for improvements to the recreation ground. Councillor Thornton again.
Well, since we managed to extend the recreation ground, we've spent some time talking to local people about how it could be made a more attractive and useful space. If you have a look at the map up on the screen, you can see the river up in the north and the community hall near the entrance from the road. At present, cars can park between the community hall and that line of trees to the east, but this is quite dangerous for pedestrians. So we're suggesting a new car park on the opposite side of the community hall, right next to it. We also have a new location for the cricket pitch. As we've now purchased additional space to the east of the recreation ground, beyond the trees, we plan to move it away from its current location, which is rather near the road, into this new area beyond the line of trees. This means there's less danger of stray balls hitting cars or pedestrians. We've got plans for a children's playground which will be accessible by a footpath from the community hall and will be alongside the river. We'd originally thought of having it close to the road, but we think this will be a more attractive location. The skateboard ramp is very popular with both younger and older children. We had considered moving this up towards the river, but in the end we decided to have it in the southeast corner near the road. The pavilion is very well used at present by both football players and cricketers. It will stay where it is now, to the left of the line of trees and near to the river, handy for both the football and cricket pitches. And finally, we'll be getting a new notice board for local information, and that will be directly on people's right as they go from the road into the recreation ground.
That is the end of Part 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers to Part 2.
Alright, now let's look at the answers. So question 15 asked about the proposed new car park location, and the correct answer is
Letter C.
which is situated on the opposite side of the community hall adjacent to it. The change was suggested to improve pedestrian safety. Moving on to question 16. We were asked about the relocation of the cricket pitch. The correct answer is
Letter F.
beyond the line of trees to the east of the recreation ground. This move aims to minimize the risk of stray balls hitting cars or pedestrians near the road. Question 17 inquired about the planned location for the children's playground, and the correct answer for this is
Letter A.
accessible by a footpath from the community hall and situated alongside the river. This new location was chosen for its attractiveness and accessibility. For question 18, we were asked about the placement of the skateboard ramp, and the correct answer is
Letter I.
in the southeast corner near the road. By considering other locations, it was decided to keep it in its current spot due to its popularity. Question 19 focused on the current location of the pavilion, and the correct answer is
Letter E.
to the left of the lines of trees and near the river. The location remains convenient for both football players and cricketers using the nearby pitches. Finally, question 20 asked about the placement of new notice board, and the correct answer is
Letter H.
directly on people's right as they enter the recreation ground from the road. So this will serve as a valuable source of local information for visitors. Now for this one specifically, I just wanted to give you a hint. If you miss out this, now obviously it's common sense that notice board will be at a place which is, accessible and next to entrance. So obviously as you enter, you will see that notice board there. So even if you miss out that information, you can make the guess that this is where the notice board is going to be. Alright, well done everyone. You have successfully identified the correct locations based on the information provided in the recording. Remember to review your answers and continue practicing to further improve your skills. If you have any questions, feel free to ask and post it in the comment section. I would love to reply to any questions that you may have. Now the last part of the video is common pitfalls to avoid in the map-based questions. While map-based questions in IELTS listening can be manageable with right strategies, there are several pitfalls that test takers need to avoid. So we will be talking about these pitfalls and how to avoid to maximize the performance in the IELTS listening maps-based questions. So these are the top 10 common pitfalls, and let's explore these pitfalls and how to mitigate them. So the first one is misinterpreting symbols. So one of the common pitfalls is misinterpreting symbols or icons on a map. Avoid confusion by familiarizing yourself with common map symbols and their meanings. So for example, if you are not familiar with the symbols, hospital symbol typically is represented by the red cross or the letter H, indicating the location of a hospital or medical facility on the map. Now you might be wondering, where are you going to get these symbols that are commonly used in the IELTS listening maps questions? Now I've got you covered. As I said, I have included a document in the description which you can download. In this description, I have included the common, symbols that are used in the IELTS listening test. So familiarize yourself with these symbols. So the next time you see these symbols on the IELTS listening test, you know what these symbols mean. The next pitfall is ignoring scales. You may have noticed in some of the IELTS listening maps, sometimes the scales are given to represent the length of something. Could be, meters, centimeters, millimeter. So it's really important to look at what these scales are. Sometimes the speaker may say it's 2 meters away from XYZ. So ignoring scales could be a major pitfall. So make sure next time you see the scales, you definitely consider that before you actually hear the audio. The next pitfall is overlooking directions. Missing or misunderstanding directional cues in the audio can result in placing answers in the wrong locations on the map. Listen carefully for directional words and phrases and follow the instructions accurately. I can't stress this point enough, how important the directions are. You are generally provided with that direction, cardinal directions, kind of figure on the listening test, that this is north, this is east, south, this is west, this is east. But again, it is really important for you to know which direction is which, because you can't really look at the picture and then listen to the audio at the same time. So again, practice. The more you practice, the better you get familiarized with these directions on the IELTS listening test. The next pitfall is skipping map preview. Failing to preview the map before listening to the audio can make it challenging to follow along during the test. So take few moments to familiarize yourself with the map layout and key features before you actually start to listen the recording. The next one is fixating on details. Getting too caught up in specific details or trying to mark every point mentioned in the audio can waste your time and lead to confusion. Focus on just identifying the key locations and directions relevant to the task at hand. The next one is misinterpreting spatial relationships. So misunderstanding, the relationships between locations on the map can result in placing answers incorrectly. So pay attention to the descriptions of proximity, distance, and orientation to accurately position your answers. So if someone says it's next to the cafe, what it really means is it's next to the cafe. So if there are two things next to the cafe, for example, 1 and 2. So obviously you need to pay attention to the words like immediately next to the cafe. So you would know that what exactly next to the cafe they are referring to, whether it's immediately next to the cafe or further next to the cafe. The next pitfall is rushing through questions. Rushing through map-based questions without carefully listening to the audio or double-checking answers can lead to careless errors. Take your time to listen attentively and mark answers accurately on the map. The next one is losing track of location. I can't stress how important is it to keep the track of the location. So losing track of your current location or orientation on the map can cause confusion when following directions or marking answers. So use landmarks and directional cues to maintain spatial awareness throughout the task. So you exactly know where you are in the task. That's why I always say you need to put yourself in the task. The next one is inaccurately interpreting the audio. So misinterpreting information provided in the audio, such as place names or descriptive details, can result in placing answers in the wrong locations. Listen carefully and verify your understanding before marking answers on the map. The last one is panicking under pressure. It is absolutely common to panic in the IELTS listening test, but I would say stay calm and stay focused. Trust in your preparation strategies. So you need to familiarize yourself with all these map-based questions so you don't kind of experience that anxiety that most likely all the test takers kind of feel in the test. And I'll be honest with you, it's not uncommon to kind of experience that anxiety, but lesser the anxiety, the better the chances to get the higher band score. So obviously you wanted to reduce your anxiety as low as possible to get the good band score on the IELTS test. Alright, so in this video we have covered everything you need to know about the IELTS listening maps questions. So we started by understanding what these questions are all about, and then we explored the different types you might encounter. We then delved into essential vocabulary to help you navigate these questions effectively. Remember, we discussed important strategies for tackling map-based questions, from focusing on labeling parts to putting yourself in the map and staying attentive to the answers. We even practiced with some example questions to apply what we have learned. I know these questions might seem daunting at first, but with practice and perseverance, you can master them. Each step you take in your preparation brings you closer to success. Believe in yourself, trust in your abilities, and keep pushing yourself. So, to all of you watching, I want to say you have got this. Approach each challenge with confidence, stay focused, and remember that every effort you put in is a step towards achieving your goals. If I can get band 9, you can get band 9 too. So before we wrap up, I want to extend a special invitation to all of you. If you found this video helpful and valuable in your IELTS preparation journey, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel Crack IELTS with Simmer. So by subscribing, you'll stay updated on all our latest videos and tips to help you ace your IELTS exam. And remember, sharing is caring. If you know someone who would benefit from this video, feel free to share this video so that they can get benefited from this video as well. Together we can empower and support each other on the path to success. Thank you so much for your support and for being part of our community. Let's continue to learn, grow, and achieve our goals together. Until next time, keep cracking IELTS with Simmer. I'll see you guys in another video.